What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 36 of the Stand Up Guys podcast. I'm your host, the incomparable Zach Jones, joined as always by the Chuck McGill to my slipping Jimmy McGill, Lester Jones.
I wanted to be slipping. I just noticed with our black shirts we completely blend in.
That's all right. At least AJ sticks out.
Big time.
And speaking
to our
speaking of AJ, we got the ninth wonder, Chocolate Thunder. He respects the power of the majestic ham flour. He knows the appeal of the rusty wagon wheel. The Baron of Browntown, the Duke of Dukieville, the Ayatollah of Assahola, the phenomenal AJ Singh.
That was a new one. I liked it.
No, I've done that one before.
You done that before? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
might be more interesting if I have my microphone.
I doubt it.
And after all those gems, people are gonna be, damn. Those first 2 minutes, I really fucked them up.
Man, speaking of butthole-related news, so not last week's show, but 2 shows ago,
You were a real butthole.
I was a real butthole. But, you know, if you follow me on Twitter, at Zach Jones Live, you know, I always tweet out our
Pictures
YouTube.
of your butthole.
Well, yeah. And our YouTube links as well. And so one of our topics 2 weeks ago had the word poop in it. And we were retweeted by the poop bot. And I was like, oh, that's a great idea. A bot that just goes through Twitter and retweets everything that has the word poop in it. But
There are other bots as well, just so.
But the thing is, that week we actually had 2 different topics with the word poop in it because we're classy that way.
Oh, we got 2 retweets.
No, that's the thing. It only retweeted one of them. What the fuck, poop bot?
Dropping the ball.
Poop
Dropping
bot
the
drop. Yeah, Poopbot was like, this one's not classy enough for me.
And by the way, if Poopbot exists, how come, you know, Lesbian Bot and all the other bots that could be retweeting our shit, you know, they're sleeping on the job, I feel.
I'm a little disappointed in Poopbot. Was he calling us out? Like, you had one poop topic fine, but another one?
Maybe that was part of it. Maybe he's like, I gave you one.
Yeah.
You didn't follow. You didn't retweet. You didn't reciprocate in any way. So you know what? Fuck you.
Oh, Poopbot's
Or maybe he just
feisty.
Yeah, Poopbot's got like, you know, he's got standards.
maybe he just doesn't want you to, you know, flood the poop market. And he's like, you get one every such and such amount of time or something like that.
I mean, I flooded the poop market once or twice, but
In my pants.
I don't know where that was going.
Well, speaking of not knowing where things are going, did you guys have any stories from the week? Anything happen?
Yes.
Oh,
My Houston Cougars are in the NCAA tournament in the Final Four, first time in 37 years.
Oh yeah, we were talking about the Cougars pounding the Beavers the other
Yeah,
day.
they went to work on the Beavers and
Just went to town on the Beavers.
and you know, some people call them the Horny Milfs, the Houston Horny Milfs, but Cougars, Horny, you know, whatever. And you know, they're gonna get their butts kicked in the next round, but that's okay. I'm very happy and a lot of love.
Now, are they going up against another sexually innuendo named team?
Yes. The Baylor Bears.
Oh,
So they're
kind of, the gay bear.
They're
Yeah,
trying to
exactly.
flip some bears.
Yeah, exactly.
I see. Get the bears.
Every team should have a sexual name. Just to,
I feel
I
like
still won't watch, but
I feel like the gay community really commandeered the name of the Bears, and when you know, I wouldn't mind being a bear. Come on, guys.
I wonder how everyone on the Chicago Bears felt when that became like a term.
Like, all right, we got to go all in on this.
We should do a little research because I know there's more than one category. I know there's bears. There's
Twinks.
like twinks.
I think
I think there's like otters.
yeah, like
Yeah.
seals are. I was gonna say seals. It's maybe you're right. Otters though.
Yeah.
I think it might be otters.
See, this is why we need to do the research. If anyone wants to, like, you know, give us a grant, that'd be perfect.
You guys watch anything this week?
Let's see. I watched Justice League multiple times, the Snyder Cut.
Now that amazes me because like I watched the ones for the show and like we said on the show, like it's a fine movie, but man, 4 hours long. I just
Yeah, but you said you like high watch it.
Yeah, I high watched
You
it.
just get high and then you
Yeah.
like
It's chill, you know.
let's roll.
Yeah.
Let's roll
It's
some
not- it's
Justice
not-
League.
You're not overly, like, you know, sensitive to everything that's going on in the movie when you're doing that.
Does it go by faster or slower when you're high?
Actually, it's slower, but it's still enjoyable.
What about you?
I don't know. I started thinking about Aquaman now.
Who can't, right?
Are you gonna watch
Gotta get that
Aquaman?
shirt off. Now there's a bear.
Did you finish Fargo?
Well, what I think happened is like I was partway through the last season, and then like because we share an account, I think you might have finished it.
Oh, I did finish it.
And then I was trying to read through the descriptions, and I was like, "Where in the fuck am
Oh,
I?"
I made you a second profile.
Oh, maybe I'll try it.
You might want to try that.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm partway through. I
You
don't
just
know
gotta
what's going
find
on.
it. Okay. Anyway, I finished. Still a very, very good show. Totally recommend Fargo for anyone who hasn't watched it. So I also watched. Like I said last week, I watched Singing in the Rain. I tried another classic movie. Now this one I had never heard of, but it's an Orson Welles movie called Mr. Arkadin.
Haven't heard of that.
And the thing is it's not a very good movie. I don't recommend it. But it kind of has like an interesting premise. Basically what it's about is like Orson Welles plays like this kind of like mysterious billionaire. And he hires this guy who's like an ex-military intelligence guy. He basically says that he doesn't remember anything before 1927. Like he's like, I know I showed up in this town with like $200,000, and that's what was the basis of that I turned into my fortune. But he's like, I don't know how I got that money. Like he has this amnesia, right? So he hires this guy to basically delve into his past and like figure it out. So this guy like goes around talking and he finds all these people. And basically what he finds out is that this guy, Orson Welles, used to like be a part of this gang and like the money was from crime.
Okay.
But then I'm just going to spoil it because like I said, nobody's going to watch it. Basically what you find out is the whole amnesia story was made up, and he basically just used this guy to track down the former members of the gang so he could snuff them out, because basically he's going to try to get some contract, and if the people find out about his criminal past, it could, then it's fuck the whole thing up.
Okay.
So like an interesting enough premise, but like the thing is like the lead of the movie, the guy that he hires, at least in this movie, I forget his name, but not a good actor. and like all the dialogue is like so fast that you're just like, nobody talks like this. Nobody used to talk like this.
Like an Aaron Sorkin kind of shit?
Yeah, but like even worse, I think.
Okay.
Like the guy like was on speed or something. I don't know. It's like but yeah, it's I don't recommend it, but like it's one of those movies where I like if someone took the basic premise and remade it with better actors, it could be something.
That's the thing, is like the premise is the basis of like everything, and like the first thing you really have to nail is the premise.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that will carry even a shitty movie, but apparently not always.
The other thing I watch, because I watch it every week because I hate myself, is I always, catch up on wrestling to an extent.
Right.
And, I know I talked about...
To an extent.
Well,
okay, we should talk about how much this motherfucker listens to the Jim Cornette show.
Well, that's different, though. I mean, it's wrestling related.
Oh, okay. So you have two sections. The wrestling.
Yeah, he basically makes fun. He basically makes fun of all. He basically makes fun of all the stupid shit in the wrestling I watch.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
But
so okay.
Well, what I'm getting at is, so I mentioned on a very early show that I basically watch wrestling more out of habit because it's gotten so bad recently. But like I'll always like root for it to get good again, because I do feel like pro wrestling at its best is actually a very entertaining thing.
I mean, it could turn a corner again.
I mean, I hope
maybe
so.
When Vince kicks the old can.
That's the thing. I would say I watch less out of habit now and more out of a morbid curiosity to see just how bad it can get. Because I think that Vince McMahon has to have like a syphilitic brain.
So here's
like it's so crazy.
Here's the second question: are you sure that just over like the last 20 years you haven't just like accidentally acquired some taste?
It's partly that, a little bit of that, but not
Just a
much.
touch, yeah.
But
yeah.
no, it's gone.
I don't know why I asked.
It's gone downhill huge.
Right, yeah.
And ever since COVID happened and they don't have live audiences, it's allowed them to do things even worse.
I saw a couple episodes like right when they had no audience, and it is so awkward when they're playing to nobody because you don't have like the applause, you don't have the cheers, you don't have the boos to like back up the performance.
Yeah, they need interaction.
And it's very weird.
Well, you know what they've been...
It's like their timing was like super different. It was like wrong.
Well, you know what they've been doing for the last several months, which is still shitty. So they got this arena, and for the time they've nicknamed it the Thunderdome. And what they do is they line up all these monitors, like tons and tons of monitors in the audience, and then they basically each week select so many fans that basically just remote in with their camera.
Okay, I got you.
But then...
So they're actually getting some interaction. They're getting some like facial.
But here's the thing: is those people's audio doesn't come through, so they pipe in like cheer and boo audio themselves.
They did that with basketball too,
and it's so shitty.
That's very strange. I haven't seen that.
Yeah, so they have the fake fan noise, and it's weird and shitty. But I mean, I get why they do it, but it's still shitty.
You'd think if you can do the video, you might as well just do the audio. But I mean, it would take some technology probably. But
yeah, but then also you have the problem of like someone coming into someone's room there and like saying, "What the fuck are you watching?" Well, I guess it wouldn't.
Well, people in the audience are saying that.
That's true. That's true. But I don't know how you do it without. And everybody's like microphone quality would be different. And I don't know. I think it'd be really hard to do that and make it sound like not terrible.
There probably are some technical challenges there. Yeah.
But just to give you guys an idea of like how bad it's gotten, so like on last week's show, like there's this guy named Braun Strowman, because he's brawny and he's like a strong man. You get it? But he does this move where he goes outside the ring, and he basically runs around and he shoulder tackles people. Like he gets some speed going and he just goes around shoulder tackling people. And they actually played train noise last week when he did it. Like he was a train. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it's so mind-boggling. Like, if somebody told me that Vince McMahon's like whole goal in life was that he thought wrestling was just for 5-year-olds and that's what he was going for, even then I would be like, well, they would have to be like, R-worded 5-year-olds too. Like, because this stuff is so like insulting even to a 5-year-old. And then but the thing is, like, if you look at the current demographics of wrestling, like little kids are not watching wrestling. Like, it's like people my age and even older.
Right, the old audience, I guess.
That are, clamoring for, like, the good old days of when wrestling was good. So, will it ever get good again? I'm skeptical, but I guess I'll keep at it, just hoping.
Do any of the big names ever come back, like The Rock and stuff like that?
Usually like WrestleMania, right? They'll do it
sometime. Yeah, but it's just like he said, like for an appearance. They'll come in for, usually not a match, usually just a little show up and do a little something and leave again, kind of thing. But we'll see. Hopefully, fingers crossed, one day I can call myself a pro wrestling fan again without feeling shame. But anyway, let's get into the show. AJ, as tradition dictates, we will start with you.
All right. So this is a list, or this is a topic about the funniest words in the English language. And this topic is by like an English newspaper, so they might be different words from what we're used to.
If diarrhea is not in there.
If punani isn't in there.
Boff Cooch, and jiggly, the funniest words in the English language.
Cooch is funny.
Yeah. The funniest words in the dictionary have been revealed with upchuck, boff, and jiggly topping the list. Constantly changing, updating, and evolving, the English language is a fascinating entity that's seen words such as avo and bougie weave their way into everyday vocabulary lately.
What's Avo?
Yeah, I don't know what. Avo?
How's it spelled?
AVO.
I'll look it up.
The ability of certain words to positively affect your mood is a curious topic, so thought-provoking that researchers from the University of Alberta decided to explore it in great detail. According to their study, which was recently published in the Journal of Experimental Psychology, there are some words that are far more likely to have you in fits of laughter than others. Humor is, of course, still personal. Let's see. Here we get at the elements of humor that aren't personal, things that are universally funny. Westbury and his co-author Jeff Hollis had participants rate the comedic value of 4,997 words from the English language. This allowed them to determine which words that were deemed as funnier than others, whether that be due to a word being particularly unusual or simply sounding funny when it's said out loud. After bottling it down to 10 words, Westbury and Hollis concluded that the funniest words in the English language are upchuck, bubby, boff, wriggly, yaps, giggle, cooch, guffaw, puffball, and jiggly. So Wrigley and Jiggly are both in there.
Yeah, I gotta say, Cooch is really the only one that was that funny.
I mean, boff sounds like it'd be an interesting word. I don't know what would it be used for.
I think it's fucking.
I think boff means fuck, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, because I've heard people say marry boff kill instead of marry fuck kill.
Let's see. We demonstrate that words are just funnier if they are less common and have an improbability, orthographic, or phonological structure that they state in the study. So just, words that are used less common.
Right. So sometimes, we all run across these words that kids are using these days that we don't know. So I usually default to the Urban Dictionary.
Yeah, I do that.
And so I was looking up on fleek the other day. I was like, what the fuck is on fleek?
Uh-huh.
And apparently it's just like being sharp, clean, well-groomed or
Yeah.
whatever. But this is what's interesting because Urban Dictionary is like known for like taking these weird phrases or whatever and being like giving you the upfront definition. And this one was like, this is a word used by idiots to try to defile the English language. I was like, this is what your whole site is. Why are you ragging on these guys?
Yeah, isn't this your whole thing?
Even they know it's true.
So yeah, on fleek is
All right, guess don't use that phrase.
What I think there would be something great about people our age using these just to like fuck with people, like especially kids.
Or just to ruin them faster so people stop using.
Right.
I never looked up on fleek.
Stop saying on fleek.
Yeah, I never looked up on fleek, but just the way people use it, I thought they meant like on point, like stylistically or whatever. You know.
There's also another one, yeet. Like yeet something.
Right, you just like throw
Chuck it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Oh, is that what yeet means?
I believe so.
I thought it. I heard that one. I thought maybe it was like another synonym for like coming or something.
Oh, like skeet.
Yeah, like skeet.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeet.
Okay, so yeet is just throwing something.
Yeah, I guess that's a way of coming.
So what was Avo?
I don't know. I don't know which one would be funny. Like this one says like a short like phrase for afternoon. Maybe avocado. It's like I don't see anything like definitive that's interesting or funny.
Maybe it's like an English word that we don't use much
maybe.
over here.
It's English.
You know
It's
what?
butthole, you dumbass.
You know what words took off like a couple years ago that I hate is like people started using lit and sus, and so like lit is just like a synonym for like cool, I guess.
Yeah.
And then sus, I think means suspect. So it's probably lame, but maybe not. Like why not just say cool or lame? Like I feel like those will always work.
Well, is it what's the one they started using for like straight people?
Oh, super straight?
Cisgendered.
Oh, yeah, now, yeah.
I was like, you can just call us straight. Like it's not we have a word for that.
No, isn't cisgender just means you identify with your biological sex?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And there's too many words. I'm never gonna figure it out.
Yeah, so like 99.9% of people are cisgender.
Yeah.
Straight.
And it sounds like...
Oh no,
No, it just means you're not trans, basically.
Yeah.
right, not trans, cis.
Yeah.
It seems kind of effeminate, cis.
Cisgender. Yeah, it does seem...
Because it's like sissy.
Yeah.
Is there a root for cis? That I don't know.
It's CIS. I'm not sure.
Anyway,
What's that other term that kind of means gay? Is it fey? Like you're acting kind of fey or something?
why would you use fey when you have gay? I don't
know, but that's a thing, isn't it?
It's like when you're gay, but the gay community thinks you're only like partially
Or
gay.
it could be like guys that are straight, but they kind of have like things that are considered.
Right. They don't they don't really think it's gay, and they don't worry about it, but mostly they're straight. But if someone gives them a dick, then, it's not the end of the world.
I still love that Dana Carvey character, like the effeminate,
Effeminate male.
heterosexual.
Heterosexual,
like,
yeah.
why does everyone think I'm gay?
I don't know. Part of me is like, I should figure it out. Part of me is like, I have no interest in spending the time to figure this out. I just want to call everybody an idiot and move on with life.
So cisgender means, or it derives from Latin prefix cis, meaning on the side of, which is opposite of trans. So trans is like...
So you're on the
neither
side
side.
of... okay, so it is root-based,
Yeah.
cisgendered.
All right, should we move on to manifesto round one?
Oh, you gotta do me, man.
What's that?
What? You found your picture next to the...
What are you talking about? No, you gotta do my topic.
oh, yeah.
Oh, was there more to this one?
No, I was just looking up cisgender just because we were talking.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, we did. I did do a topic. Sorry, yeah. Go ahead. Manifesto round 2 or round 1.
Round one. Oh, there's so much government crap in here. So the evergreen ship blockage this week generated a ton of memes.
Funny jokes, yeah.
Yeah, like I first started seeing like some memes, and I didn't even understand it, and then I finally heard the story behind the meme. Of just like there's a boat stuck in the canal.
Suez
A
Canal.
1/4-mile long ship. Man, I mean, that's massive.
That is gigantic.
Yeah.
And it was stuck for like 6 days,
Yeah.
and they were figuring it's like $10 billion a day or something.
So how did they finally get it out?
Oh, I got a story about this.
Oh, okay.
But just
Yeah,
a little
well,
bit.
Might as well tie them together since we're on it.
Yeah, let's do it. So,
But I know there were pictures of there without like an excavator and stuff and tugboats, and it was a big project. But yeah, that's so if you ever go to war with Egypt, you know what to bomb.
but that'll hurt everybody. That'll hurt you too.
Well, it said like a lot of the exports that go through there go to Europe.
Oh, screw Europe.
Oh yeah, so if you ever go to war with Europe,
A Suez
bomb the
Canal.
shit out of Egypt.
Well, also with China, I think 70% of their oil goes through the
there.
Strait of Hormuz or something.
Because it seems like all those ships were playing like, the game of like, do we wait here or do we go around Africa? So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big choice.
Man, I mean, all the money that was lost, all the shipments that were delayed, it was a huge pain in the ass economically for the world.
Yeah, I know.
Like, how did it happen to begin with? Was it?
They said apparently some really strong wind was blowing out there and it just turned them sideways.
Well, that must have been a strong wind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Considering the momentum on something like that and the engines, it would have had to have been big, yeah.
Well, talking about dislodging that ship, the full warm moon helped break the logjam in the Suez Canal. So a piece of celestial good luck likely made it easier for engineers to successfully refloat the giant container ship that blocked the Suez Canal for almost a week. Sunday's so-called full warm moon led to a high spring tide,
Yeah, because they were waiting for the tide. Yeah.
about 18 inches above normal. on Monday, which eased the process of straightening out the dislodged ship, according to NASA. Spring tides have nothing to do with the season. It's a historical term for when tides spring forth during new and full moons, according to the National Ocean Service. While there are 12 to 13 full moons in a year, only 6 to 8 are associated with a tide high enough to do what was done on Monday. Because the moon is closest to Earth during the full moon, said CNN meteorologist Judson Jones, it is not uncommon for these tides to be a foot higher than other tides during the year when the moon is further from the Earth. It is no doubt that these high tides were part of the strategy for dislodging such a massive ship. Those 6 to 8 full moons are called supermoons because they appear bigger and brighter in the sky. The March supermoon was the first of the year and was expected to be fourth brightest moon of 2021. The Native American tribes of the U.S. called the March moon worm moon because the earthworms cast soil that the worms digest become visible as the ground thaws at that time of the year. Traffic resumed in both directions of the Suez Canal on Monday evening after tugboats spent several hours working to free the bow of the Evergreen container ship after dislodging the stern earlier in the day. The successful refloating was met with triumph and relief as hundreds of vessels that have been trapped in the pivotal shipping lane since March 23rd prepared to restart their journeys. The challenge is now dealing with the backlog and congestion of the ships, which working day and night could take more than 3 days to clear. But yeah, supermoon, worm moon.
Well, glad they got it cleared because I'm tired of waiting on my fleshlight.
You went with that fancy European model.
Yeah, you really want the Chinese because they know what they're doing. They've really they've stolen what we made and like made it better. You know?
It's the one area where you don't want to buy American.
Right.
You should have done next day shipping, air shipping.
I don't know what I was thinking. It's like, yeah, put it on the ship. How much longer? Where's could it be?
All right, was that it for that?
The slow boat from China, if you will.
All right, well.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, I'm going to try to win over Poopbot again. San Francisco poop testing company charged with fraud. You might think your poop is nothing but a waste product, but you'd be wrong. It can actually hold valuable information about your health. That's why many companies provide different kinds of services to analyze your bodily waste. But for one such company, their test material just hit the fan. On March 18th, the Federal Securities and Exchange Commission charged San Francisco-based Ubiome with massive investor and insurance fraud. The company, founded in 2012, provided services that they claimed accurately analyzed the customer's intestinal microbiome, except that they didn't. According to the SEC, the company's tests were nothing but bullshit. Only this writer didn't have the moxie to put the whole thing. According to the SEC, Ubiome's founder Jessica Richmond, 46, and Zachary Schultz Apty, 36, collected more than $60 million from investors based on bogus claims about their company. They presented their firm as a successful startup with a proven business model, the SEC claimed. Richmond and Apty portrayed the company as having a strong track record of receiving health insurance reimbursements for its clinical tests, which purportedly could detect microorganisms and assist in diagnosing disease, the SEC complaint reads. These claims were false and misleading because Ubiome's purported success in generating revenue depended on duping doctors into ordering unnecessary tests and other improper practices, the agency added. Wait, they were making money by getting doctors to swab people's butts for nothing? Talk about low.
Take this corona test.
This is a humiliating fall from grace for Ubiome. Upon its founding, the company was touted as the up-and-coming champions in the field of butt swabbing. That's going to be our next venture.
There's a hole in the market.
The company's service model was simple. For a fee as low as $100, their customers would get their very own sample collection kit. The kit contains several color-coded small vials. Better make it a big vial for me, with a Q-tip-like swab attached to the lid. Based on the color, people would use the swab to collect a sample from the appropriate bodily area, from behind the ears to the gastrointestinal gastrointestinal tract. Just so we're clear, that means your anus. After the swab, the customer would mail the kit back to Ubiome. They would then analyze the samples. To keep their costs low, the company claimed to analyze for only one gene, the 16S ribosomal RNA gene. According to Berkeley Science Review, this one gene is sufficient to determine what bacteria are present in a person's internal microbiome. After the analysis, customers would be able to view the results on Ubiome's website. Although they never claimed the results were all-encompassing, they said that the business would demonstrate that citizen science can guide meaningful research. According to the company, their work would allow people to follow the development of their microbiome over time. This could then guide their lifestyle choices from diet to exercise routines. As it turns out, it wasn't quite so. As SEC claims, the company's entire business model revolved around false or dubious medical tests. Customers who brought the test didn't learn anything new. One Ubiome customer, Mark Harris, said his doctor believed the tests were pointless, and he ended up completing only 2 of the 6 swabs. Despite the incomplete test, his insurance records showed that Ubiome had received 5 payments for it. Each payment was nearly $3,000. Apparently, this was Ubiome's regular modus operandi. They would bill insurance companies several times for the tests. To hide their shady practices from investors and insurers, the SEC said Ubiome's gave them falsified or outdated medical records. This allowed them to keep raking in money from investments in insurance claims. It goes on, but yeah, I just thought, that's just $60 million they got from investors, and who knows how much more through doing what they were doing. $3,000 per false test they were claiming. It's insane, man.
Now, if you figure you go to jail for 5 years, that was a pretty good investment.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the other part of it is who knows what kind of time they'll do, but Jesus.
Yeah, unfortunately that's true. You can scam people and get a pretty good, deal out of it. A few years in prison and get that money.
Well, Zach and I were talking earlier, and this is spurred by a John Oliver piece where he was covering televangelists. And so one of these televangelists on TV, apparently this is a common theme, is they'll ask you to send money, and they basically set it up so they call it seed money. So you send this seed money, and then it's gonna reap its rewards later. You're gonna get you these rewards from God later for planting these seeds now. And so John Oliver, he sent him $20 or something. And basically that gets you on their mailing list of these are people who are dumb enough to send us money.
Oh no.
And so they just started sending these things so they'd send him $1 and be please send this back with $28 and sow this money into your your future, whatever it is. But then it's talking about how these televangelists, they own $30 million mansions or parishes, and then they have these coliseums and private jets and just the whole 9 yards, and it's these people are just straight preying on people, but that's legal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane. The mansions and private jets that some of those guys have. If anybody listening to this gives money to people like that, stop. Save your money. And then years down the road, when we have an audience and we can open up a Patreon and give it to us.
Right. We should set up a Patreon. Maybe we need to start making promises.
One thing I promise to do is show you everything I buy with that money. And how I use it.
Here's that fleshlight I finally got from here.
Here's me using it.
I'm a little more honest than them. Y'all get on OnlyFans and be you send me some money. Me, you, this fleshlight. We'll have a good time. Don't worry. I'm going to take care of you.
People would be paying you not to have an OnlyFans.
I'm sure there's plenty of those out there.
Yeah, I've seen some interesting people saying that they would want to open an OnlyFans, and I've been I don't think you'll be successful with that.
Maybe a food card. Maybe a food card is more in your ballpark.
Yeah. That would be disheartening to open an OnlyFans and get nobody, no takers,
Yeah.
nobody, 50 cents, 50 cents. Come on.
The discount OnlyFans.
You're my only fan.
I can only afford a Zach.
You got to be hard up.
You're like, I'll take food stamps.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody?
Just give me props.
give me a big thumbs up on YouTube.
I just need a boost. All right, AJ, we'll send it back to you.
All right, let's go to my first topic, see what I had here. Okay. A Georgia man is accused his former employer of a childish move after he received his final payment of $915 in pennies.
This is literally going to be my next one, but that's fine.
Yeah, Andreas Flatten discovered the haul of 90,000 coins, which were covered in an oily, greasy substance at the bottom of his driveway. On top of the pile was his final payslip, along with an explicit parting message from the car workshop where he worked. Mr. Flatten left his job in November and claims he had encountered difficulty receiving the payment. He now spends his nights gradually cleaning the pennies so he can cash them in, and it took him an hour and a half to make a few hundred of the coins usable. Miles Walker, who owns the workshop, told WGCL TV that he didn't know if he had dropped the pennies outside Mr. Flatten's house or not. He said, "I don't really remember. It doesn't matter. He got paid. That's all that matters." The businessman then called Mr. Flatten a weenie. Olivia Oxley, Mr. Flatten's girlfriend, said she hopes the incident will highlight how people are treated so poorly by their employers. But she is looking on the bright side, saying, "With that many pennies we're bound to find a few treasures. I've already found one from 1937 after the first shovel full. All we could do was laugh because this poor miserable man took so much time to be vindictive and cruel. We absolutely refuse to let him ruin a single moment of ours." That's great on their part. He definitely remembers doing that.
Who's going to go through all those to find, like, rare pennies? Like,
I mean, I
There are
guess
people who do it.
yeah.
it would be funny if they found one that was worth, like, a ton of money.
Yeah. Good for them. They're making the best of it.
The thing that got me was the oily substance. Did the guy just put all the pennies
Yeah.
together and then, like, take a bottle of oil and just, like, fucking cover them?
Grease or something. I mean, look, you can pay people in pennies,
I
but
mean, if you work in an auto shop, you probably got like a 50 barrel drum of like used oil or something.
yeah.
Yeah,
You should call the environmental. Yeah, this guy just dumped a bunch of oil.
Yeah, that's where you could have them, right? Like he dropped the pennies, fine. That's one thing. You have to accept payment in American money, pennies. But when you have oil on these pennies, then you could say like there's a chemical, there's a substance on these. I don't have to accept this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what if they were covered in shit or something?
Yeah.
There's a story I heard. It's been a long time ago. I want to say it was a race car driver, but he got fined like some ridiculous fine, like $100,000.
Oh, I heard about this. Yeah.
And like he just showed up with like a dump truck full of pennies, and they had to take them all.
That's a good way to do it.
But yeah.
That's how I would do it.
That's how I should pay my taxes.
That would cost a fortune though for you because you'd have
Plus,
to,
you're not
ship
supposed to send money through the mail, are you? I guess you.
I don't know.
I wonder if you could just pull it up to their headquarters. Be like,
I heard like of an interesting trick where like, some companies in their marketing would send like paid by the recipient or whatever. Like they'll pay to put the stuff in the envelope and ship it back to them.
Oh yeah.
And so people would like put a bunch of bricks in a box and like tape it on there and send it out. I'm like, that's pretty smart.
All right, should we go manifesto round 2, round deuce, if you will?
Yeah, maybe I'll skip the political ones for a minute. So apparently, like in California, there's these bears and they're getting some kind of disease that maybe affects their brain, but they become like friendly, like dogs, they say.
Oh.
So they'll come into like human territory and they're not like afraid of anybody, and like it's very weird. And the like environmental controls, they'll come and pick them up and move them, but yeah, just like they don't have any They're just like friendly bears.
I mean, that sounds like a good thing to me.
Well, I mean, it'd be scary, right? I don't know.
Oh yeah, like I don't care how friendly they tell me a bear is. Like I don't want to get. I mean, you could play with like a cub, fine, but like a full-grown bear, fuck that. I don't care.
Yeah, it sounded like it was younger bears, but I'm not sure the full details.
Yeah, because a full-grown bear could rip your throat out in one move.
Even a cub could probably fuck you up.
It could, but I mean, I would play with a bear cub. I think that would be fun.
Well, like a little one.
As long as their like claws were clipped, so they couldn't really.
Because like even like people like in zoos who like deal with bears, they'll still like nip you and bite you and shit.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Where was that at?
That's in California, and apparently there's been more than one case. There's been a number of cases.
Yeah, I've seen like the YouTube videos of people like hugging bears and stuff in California.
Yeah, I mean, certain people will raise them and train them and you know, kind of like treat them like a pet, but I don't know.
Interesting. Who are these people who are not afraid of the bears, though? Who are like, oh, a friendly bear? Let me go up to it.
Well, like, it wasn't that so much as like most bears are kind of skittish. Like if they hear you, they'll disappear. Like they won't stick around.
Okay.
But yeah, they like came in people's yards and was like eating apples from the apple tree and just like standing around and like they try to yell at it and spook it, and then it's just kind of like okay, whatever, and just chill.
It's like the Indians that were friendly to the Pilgrims, not knowing that they were pieces of shit.
Yep. I always think the bears and the natives, they both got screwed.
Okay, was that it for that one?
Yeah, nothing big.
Okay, well, I got to give props to Maine here. Maine considers legalizing Viking funerals.
It seems like a good way to polish it out.
Yeah, I think so too. From human composting to chewing gum coffins, we've brought you many stories about strange and unusual funeral practices. This is from the Oddie website, by the way. But now the state of Maine is looking to put everyone else to shame when it comes to burials. A new bill submitted to the Maine State Legislature's Health and Human Services Committee would legalize open-air funeral pyres. In other words, this is the closest you could get to an actual Viking funeral. The picture of the legendary Viking funeral practice has become synonymous with literally going out in a blaze of glory. There's just something about having your earthly remains disposed of, setting them off in a burning boat that's so cool. The funeral pyre keeps popping up in popular media as well. If you've watched Game of Thrones, Vikings, or even The Phantom Menace, you've seen the great warriors and chieftains depart the living world in a fiery send-off. I only watched The Phantom Menace once. Did that have a Viking funeral in it?
Not that I remember, but same. I only watched it once, and like
You'd have to watch it twice, and that's one too many.
But I mean, the boat thing isn't a pyre exactly, right? Pyre is like a big
the
bonfire.
Well, I
Yeah.
think they put stuff on the boat, right?
Yeah.
Right, it's like
Yeah, they do like put like a layer of like twigs and shit, and then put the body on top of it.
It seems like your half burnt corpse would be like going down to the bottom of the water.
Probably. Let's see. Funeral pyres are still commonly used, especially for high-ranking individuals in the Far East, for example. Should the bill pass, nonprofit corporations in Maine would be allowed to conduct open-air cremations if they meet certain caveats. To begin with, the cremation needs to be conducted on a property at least 20 acres in size that the corporation owns. Additionally, only one funeral pyre would be allowed to be lit at a time. The ashes of the honored dead could be scattered either on the funeral property or anywhere else where law allows. Open-air cremation is currently not legal in the U.S. apart from one town in Colorado. But as people are looking into alternative environmentally friendly funeral options, pyres keep attracting attention. But wait, environmentally friendly options? Wouldn't setting up a massive blaze that burns hot enough to cremate a body be a huge environmental nightmare? No, it wouldn't. Dr. Ivan Vince has carried out a study in the UK on open-air funeral pyres and found them mostly harmless. Risks to the mourners themselves would be similar to those encountered by any persons tending a bonfire of similar size, and therefore I would expect them to be considered acceptable, Vince wrote. There will be negligible health risks to the public 1,500 feet from the pyres, he added. Vince also found that pyre funerals held at woodland sites would have a zero carbon footprint. Additionally, when it comes to pollutants such as mercury, funeral pyres would actually be safer than normal crematoria if dental fillings are removed prior to funeral pyre cremation. Some Mainers are enthusiastically hoping that the bill passes. The Good Ground Great Beyond nonprofit has been trying to get a permit to arrange open-air cremations at its 60-acre property. The intention for the land is to become a contemplative community sanctuary, scattering garden and space for open-air cremation, the organizer says on its website. I mean, it goes on, but yeah, I mean, I think it would be... to me, a cooler, like if you're going to be cremated, I would rather go this way than like in a crematorium. I'd rather see everyone get to see me go up in flames. It's cooler.
I mean, personally, like if I could, I'd just have them strap me to a nuke and like shoot me out like Dr. Strangelove style. Fuck the world.
Well, I said on this show in the past, like, ideally, I'd like to be, like, mummified, put in an astronaut suit, and then they take me up and, like, just shove me off in space. That's the coolest way. Otherwise, I want to be, like, put in a chest with, like, a crown and sunk to the bottom of the ocean, where someday somebody will find me and be like, guy was, like, the king of Atlantis or something.
In his Rubbermaid tote.
Yeah. In his dollar store crown.
Yeah, it's like plastic. This guy sucked.
Perfectly preserved.
All right, AJ, it's back to you already.
All right. Well, while you're down there, you might see this. Octopuses punch fish, sometimes for no apparent reason. What have 8 legs, hunt among a group of fish, and can throw a mean sucker punch? According to research published in Ecology last week, the answer would be octopuses. Yes, octopuses, not octopi, we asked. Octopuses punch fish deliberately. Sometimes there's a reason, but other times there's no discernible excuse. The first time researcher Eduardo Sampaio witnessed this phenomenon, he laughed. Normally, that'd be fine. At the time, he was underwater wearing scuba equipment. I almost choked on my regulator. He said in an interview, when I saw it for the first time, I just burst out laughing. The octopus is typically a solitary creature, but sometimes an octopus might take part in a hunting party made up of fishes. A grouper's gestures, for example, can clue an octopus on the location of prey. Sampaio and his co-researchers were studying this mutually beneficial behavior when they came across an octopus punching fish while hunting. Although researchers have observed octopuses punching fish before, the behavior happened in the context of a hunting party. Happening in the context of a hunting party is new. It can come suddenly out of nowhere. Sampaio said, "You can see there are some punches that are almost like a small boop." And then there are other ones that even the whole arm curls up and uncurls afterwards. You know, like the motion of a boxer punching or doing a punch. The punches are fairly rare, so it's not easy to observe, he said. The research prompts many questions, he said, like, is there a species that the octopus prefers to punch? In some cases, the researchers were unable to determine the reason the underwater bully decided to strike. Sometimes it's a partner control mechanism, Sampaio explained, to drive the fish away from the octopus's next meal, or it can be to control where the fish is swimming, or it can be a form of punishment, he said. And sometimes the 8-legged creature just punches the fish with no discernible incentive. Octopuses are assholes, man.
Fuck you, fish.
Yeah.
So, like, it couldn't be that maybe, like, they think they might be a threat, or maybe confuse them for something else, or, you know.
I mean, maybe if they're sharing hunting ground, maybe there's a reason to drive it off. I don't know. Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. It seems like there might be a reason for it other than the octopus just, like, being a dick or something. I don't know.
I don't know. Why can't the octopus be a dick? He has free will, right? Maybe. Do animals have free will?
Maybe he's just a dick.
I think they've actually done tests, and, like, I think octopuses are actually pretty smart.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be very, very smart.
I think their brains are like in some of their tentacles or something.
Yeah, apparently it's pretty extensive, but like it goes down through their tentacles, and so yeah, it's a very, very different system of intelligence apparently than humans.
Man, I mean, the way they like camouflage is just amazing.
Yeah, they have a lot of amazing features.
Yeah.
The octopuses.
Impressive.
Camouflage and some of the smart things they do and shit.
Mm.
Yeah, it's crazy.
All right, manifesto.
And I was thinking about something else when you were talking about that, and then I was like, what was it?
Hmm.
I think it was...
Octopuses being jerks, punching like a boxer.
No, it was something someone was talking about.
Was it an octopusy pun?
No, it was something a
Octopuses versus
mathematician, John
octopus
Conway, was talking about.
octopi.
Oh, you're talking about octopuses having free will.
Uh-huh.
And so they were contemplating this, free will, is whether humans have free will or whether we're destined to follow whatever.
Mm.
And like Newtonian mechanics is all about like, if you know the state of the system, you know what's going to happen, and so you can predict the future. And so they broke it down, and they got to the point where they're like, well, if we have free will, then like all the way down to like subatomic particles at some point have to have some like tiny measure of free will, because if they don't have any free will, then like nothing like above that, anything above that can have free will. So it's like this kind of like philosophical, mathematical.
I'm confused by that because,
theorem.
like, we're alive. That makes more sense to me that we would have free will.
Well, he's saying like we're all made of atoms. Basically, we're all just atoms and subatomic particles and whatever. And like, if they're all deterministic, if they have no choice in anything, then all those mechanics like come up to us, and we don't have any choice in anything. So then you have to back it up and say like, for anybody to have free will, like every little piece has to have like some measure of free will, or something like that.
Aren't we telling all those pieces what to do though with our brains?
Are we? That's the question.
Oh.
So what did they theorize?
I mean, he was leaning towards that we do have free will, and there's some arguments like quantum mechanics, because you can't really know exactly what's going on, and there seem to be some very strange results that maybe particles at that place do have free will. But basically, you also said that like if someone believes in determinism, that everything's predetermined, that everything has this like predetermined future, that if someone believes that right now, there's no way to prove them wrong. So it's kind of a wash.
Well, it's kind of like people that believe in God. Like, even in, like, if you're a scientific mind, there's no way you can prove them wrong.
Well, right. You can't prove a negative,
Yeah.
or disprove a negative. But yeah, it was just a side note. John Conway, if anyone wants to look at it. But.
So that wasn't your regular topic?
Okay, you guys ready to talk about retarded government?
Sure.
That old classic, that old gem. Okay, so I think there's one I didn't write down. But Evanston, Illinois is moving forward with reparations. They plan to give out $10 million over 10 years. And basically to like black families, people who lived in the area like during a certain time period, or descendants of those people. And it's going to be like money for housing, so like down payments or house repairs, stuff like that. So I was just like, I don't know. I think it's crazy, but
Yeah, I've heard this more and more too. Like I watch Bill Maher, and he has had guests on there that are advocate for reparations. And my thing is like reparations in the traditional way that people think of reparations, like deciding on some sort of monetary value to give African Americans. And my thing is like, how do you determine how much that is? How do you determine who gets it? Like, do you literally have to prove that your ancestors were slaves? Who is that money coming from? And like, I don't know how you possibly do it without making race relations worse.
well, it's inherently racist. Because anytime you say I'm going to do something for one group based on the color of their skin, that's racism. And instead of like stepping away from it altogether, like you're you're creating something to try to counterbalance the other one.
Well, and it's also literally advocating for people paying the sins of their fathers or
Right, that
their
argument as
great grandfathers, because it's always important to remember slavery, and we should have discussions about it. But basically, no white person today, had had slaves.
Well, there's
no
that.
black people today were slaves. That kind of thing.
Right. There's that, and there's also the argument that, like, basically, if you go back far enough, everybody's ancestors, like, had slaves or were slaves to some other group, even if it's like white and white, black and black, Asian, Asian.
I don't know. I agree with it. They actually put in like the work to build the infrastructure for this country. Slave owners got paid when slavery became illegal. Sure, the people today didn't, enforce slavery like their ancestors did, but I feel like they still benefit from what happened with it, Like, there's still a system in place where, like, white people benefit more than black people from, economics and finances and all that stuff. So, I'm okay with it. I don't have a problem with it.
But here's the thing. So, like, let's say someone was like, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to give every black person in America $20,000. Well, here it goes. Oh, that's all that slavery was worth, $20,000. It should be this amount, or then they're going to go, well, yeah, I'm black, but I'm from the or he's black, but he's from like Haiti or the Dominican Republic. He shouldn't get something, or he's half black. Does he get 10,000? These are the kind of things that are going to come up if anybody ever tries to actually give reparations in that kind of way. And also, I guarantee if they do something like that, asshole white people are going to be like, well, better not hear you complain about slavery anymore. It's taken care of.
I forgot who made this argument, but there's also like, what do you give to people who are half black or a quarter black or an eighth black or a 16th black?
Yeah.
And
no, it's very complicated. I definitely think if they can figure out how to do this, like, I don't know if there's any records of like who was a slave back then and who their descendants are now. But
some people can trace it back, and a lot of them can't. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the hard part right there for me. Yeah.
I mean, to me, the better way, modern day reparations, it's going to be, well, and it wouldn't be fair to call it reparations, but making things right would include things like, finally, getting rid of for-profit prisons, decriminalizing drugs, letting non-violent, drug offenders who are in prison out. Those are the kind of things that are going to help the black community thrive.
I mean, it's definitely a simpler way, and I mean, there's been so many complications caused by those issues. I think that would be a huge step. Yeah. Yeah, the prison stuff really gets me down. But I don't know. Basically, anytime the government inserts itself with the premise of like, I'm going to be a hero and I'm going to make myself look good by taking money away from one person and giving it to another person, I'm very, very shaky on those terms and those kind of what is like a mindset, I guess. Even though it's very common in different ways.
Well, and the other thing is like, I imagine they would pay that, if they did reparations, they would pay that out of tax money. And it's like, okay, that tax money is generated by black people and white, And so it's like that's another thing is like the aspect of where the money's coming from. And I don't know. It just... I don't think there's...
That's true, because most of the people who are paying the taxes aren't even the rich. It's like the middle class.
The middle class takes the brunt of it.
Yeah.
Many of which would be African Americans, and so I don't know. I don't think there's any way to do it where it doesn't cause more problems that it won't, what it's trying to solve, I guess, is my thing on it.
Yeah. So it's so complicated that I can't say it'd be a good thing or a bad thing. I can't say which way it would go.
Yeah.
Like this.
Another thing I always like it is complicated, but also at the same time, the government can't do anything efficiently or intelligently. So like, if they decided to put like $1 trillion toward it, like half of it would go to bureaucracy and just like middle people,
Some sort of corruption or something.
and then like Amazon would get like 1.5 billion or something.
Some sort of corporate subsidy.
I saw today that there was that asshole politician in Florida. I think his name's Matthew Getz or something like that.
Yeah.
He's under investigation now, suspected of maybe. I mean, this is all alleged that he maybe had like a relationship with a minor, like a 17-year-old girl. So no, it might be find out to be false, but
Is it claimed to be recent or like a long time ago?
2 years ago,
Man,
I think.
that guy's like 38, 40? Like-
Yeah, I think the article said he was 38.
Okay. Yeah.
But they basically found that he was like, paying money for her to travel across state lines, which could be like a crime.
Oh yeah.
So that's kind of what they're investigating.
Yeah, like already being with a minor is illegal, but then like transporting her across state lines is also illegal. So yeah, it sucks. He's an asshole. So
Yeah. Well, we're almost at time. I think I got one more kind of lighter story to go out. Although, if you guys have any other stories you want to add after this, that's fine. So I talked about this to you guys a little bit yesterday off air, but this story has a little bit more about it. So, SpongeBob episode removed from Paramount Plus for inappropriate storylines. 2 episodes of SpongeBob SquarePants have been removed from streaming services Paramount Plus due to inappropriate storylines. Both episodes, one detailing a panty raid at a woman's house. That's a great episode. And the other
was very funny episode.
And this one I actually haven't seen. An eerily prophetic story of a flu outbreak and resultant period of quarantine no longer appear on the new streaming service, a representative for Nickelodeon confirmed. In the first episode titled Midlife Crustacean, main characters including Mr. Krabs plan a panty raid, breaking into a woman's house and searching through her underwear drawer. Midlife Crustacean has been out of rotation since 2018 following a standards review in which we determined some story elements were not kid appropriate, the Nickelodeon representative told IGN. As the IGN article confirmed, the episode in question was still available to stream on Amazon Prime Video when the article went live, but has since been removed. Asked whether they considered giving a content warning at the start of the episode instead of removing it entirely, Amazon declined to comment. That's what they should have done. The second episode in question is titled Quarantine Crab, a prophetic 2019 edition of the show that sees an outbreak of clam flu at the Krusty Krab, with all those inside forced to quarantine in the restaurant. The Quarantine Crab centers on a virus storyline, so we have decided to not air it due to sensitivity surrounding the global real-world pandemic.
I want to see that one now.
The Nickelodeon rep told IGN. It's unclear if it will be released again once the pandemic is in the rear view, but IGN reported that some Reddit users are claiming it's not available on the recently released Season 12 DVD. Elsewhere, Nickelodeon confirmed last year that SpongeBob SquarePants is part of the LGBTQ plus community in a new tweet celebrating Pride Month. The network tweeted a photo of SpongeBob alongside other queer characters, Henry Danger's...
Wait, other queer characters? Are they saying
he's
SpongeBob's queer?
I guess that's what they're saying.
I think he's being boxed in.
Henry Danger's Suez Schwartz and Korra from Avatar The Last Airbender spin-off Legends of Korra. Celebrating hashtag Pride with LGBTQ plus community and their allies this month. So maybe he's just an ally.
Oh, okay.
That makes sense.
If one of them was gay, I would think Squidward.
Possibly.
But this whole thing, I find it crazy that it's an issue at all. But wouldn't it be better in all these instances if they feel that way about the episode to still air it, but just put a disclaimer, hey, this episode features storylines that some people may find inappropriate, or something like that.
Not for pussies,
Yeah.
if you identify.
But the flu one, which again I haven't seen,
Right.
it's not even offensive. It's just like, oh, we think it might hurt the feelings of people that are having a hard time with the pandemic. I'm like,
Now,
get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, unless it like makes fun of like the death of people having the flu, which would be a little insensitive to corona
Maybe.
people. But
It's also offensive to women who have the clam flu.
Between that and the panty raid, they're really upset. That's what this is all about, isn't it? But it does. Because there's going to come a point where there's probably no longer, physical media. Like eventually DVDs, Blu-rays, like they're already kind of
Yeah, they're
phasing out, and eventually it'll get to the point where they're completely phased out. I mean, most likely, and that's what worries me is like preservation of this stuff, because if it's just streaming and they take it off, it's like,
It's gone, yeah. It's like some 30-year-old who happened to have it saved on his hard drive from BitTorrent or something.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, he's the savior of.
I mean, that's the thing. Those are the pirates, are the people that are gonna
preserve the culture.
preserve this stuff. But even like you kind of think back on maybe some shows you maybe liked as a kid that didn't last very long, but there's not even enough like fan base for them to get like DVD releases.
Yeah. Like Blackie McGee.
Yeah,
That was my favorite.
So there's all these like shows out there already that in a way aren't preserved because there's no real way to view them. And there's one like I remember as a kid I really liked the Drew Carey show. And I think you can get season 1, but none of the other seasons I don't believe are available. And it has to do with like, I guess there was like, I mean, from what I understand, like some licensed music or a lot of licensed music. And so it's like, would be really expensive for them to like put it somewhere. Eventually maybe they'll figure it out. But like, that's a show that was huge like in the 90s and early 2000s.
It was really funny. It was pretty consistent.
And like, you can't really see it, at least. I mean, I'm sure you can on torrent websites and whatnot, but I think I mentioned like a few weeks back, like you can't see Aladdin the animated series anywhere, and like maybe Disney will figure that one out, but like there's just these like shows just kind of lost to time, and they're not being preserved, which I think is kind of sad. But any final thoughts, guys, or any final stories you want to add?
I thought that was a good one for me. I don't know.
Quick update: that $35 bull that was bought at that yard sale.
Oh yeah,
That was appraised at $500,000. It sold at the auction for $721,800.
Holy shit.
That's a good day. Yeah. That's a good day.
God damn. Yeah, that's a good investment.
Yeah. And a quick, fix to what I said before. That when they said for Autumn in Justice League,
Oh, that was his daughter.
his daughter, yeah. So it wasn't like any movie was coming out in autumn or anything. It was just his daughter was being referenced there.
Right, yeah. She committed suicide. So, yeah.
That's it for me.
All right, guys. Well, anybody watching or listening, thank you very much. Make sure to subscribe, like, if you will, go over to iTunes or your podcast format of choice and give us a positive review. And follow us on the social medias. Guys, where can everybody find you on Twitter?
I am at a name for this too, and that's the number 2.
At unsolicited SUG.
And you can find me at Zach Jones Live. That's ZachJonesLive. And that is going to do it for all of our shenanigans and poppycock this week. Please, please, please tune in again next week. Bye, everybody.
Have a good one.
Take care, guys.